So I'll set my mind to use my power. Wonders I want to see.
Wonderful, thank you.
It's a wonderful wonder.
It is, and it's so in line with today's talk. Today we're going to talk about the sacred power of choice. Now this is our month of will, so this is right in line with our will. Now we'll look at scripture first. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. Now, metaphysically, what this is saying is don't get caught up in what's going on out there. Be transformed by the renewing of what you are thinking about. And in that, we have a power recipe to guide our lives where we want to go. Does that sound good to everyone? Okay, we're doing it. So we start with Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity. What a wise man. And he says, man has freedom of choice. He may use this power either constructively or destructively. Now, why is that? What you think is what you get. And we have the freedom to choose anything we want, right? So if I'm using that renewing my mind and I'm going with a righteous indignation, maybe a resentment. I've been in the crock pot for maybe 30 years. Anyone know what that is? Yes. What are we going to get from that? What's the serving from the crock pot every single time? Confirmation of that resentment, the hurt, the pain, the trauma, the righteousness, because we know we're right. Anyone ever hold that opinion of themselves? If you don't, you're just too tired to raise your hand, because we're all in this together, because we're human and we're divine. And in our humanity, we can choose, free to choose, whatever, constructively or destructively. We have the power to destroy every relationship we have, simply by how we choose. We also have the power to create beyond our wildest imagination in multiple ways, to have incredible relationships that support us, that nurture us when we're down, that give us exactly what we need when we need it. That's a good friend. Yes? Now, Ernest Holmes also studied the New Thought principles with Emma Curtis Hopkins, as well as the co-founders Myrtle and Charles Fillmore, and he founded Religious Science, a great writer, and he says, life is a mirror, will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. So when we have a thought, imagine, if you will, that every thought goes right up to a mirror to reflect back to us exactly what we're thinking. I think it's a powerful image, because we can see pretty easily, if I hold this thought, it's going to give me this energy. If I hold this thought, it's going to give me this energy. Anyone confused by this idea? We are given the power. God, in loving care, does not direct us to what we think, does not make the choices for us. We are free to choose whatever we want. That's a lot of love. Now, when we make a choice, we're not making choices to change God. We can't change God. God is eternal and unchanging. We're changing our own consciousness. We're changing our own reality. So, what do you want? Do you want more serenity in your life? Do you want more excitement? Do you want a new job? Do you want retirement? Do you want peace? Do you want vibrant health? How are you going to get any of those things? Anyone got an idea? Think those thoughts. Believe those thoughts. I'm reading a book, and this morning I was listening, and it said, "Don't believe everything you think." And when I first heard it, I laughed. And then I thought, wow, what a powerful tool. I don't have to believe everything I think. And believe me, the 60, 70,000 thoughts I have every day, that you have every day, thank God we don't have to believe all of them. It really is a powerful thing when we can know with certainty that we truly have the power to create our lives. Viktor Frankl, a wonderful author, he discovered while being incarcerated in one of the concentration camps that if he chose to not see himself as a victim, chose to see himself as a valuable person, and every person he related to, his incarcerators, were holy children of God. And that attitude shifted how he was feeling about his situation. And many of the inmates joined him in this practice because a change of attitude changes our experience, even when we're in the most traumatic experience of our life. We've all been there, and if we're all sitting here, we've all made it through. Yes? Pat ourselves on the back. Between stimulus and response, there's a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. So, whenever anything comes up in our life, there's a beat. There's a moment where we can choose our response or our reaction. And in that space, we have the power to choose. Now, sometimes we're going to choose, this is an argument that's going on, and I know I'm right. I'm going to hold my righteous position and experience a whole bunch of pain. Because it doesn't change the other person at all. Because they've taken a stance too. But if I choose a different response in that situation, the argument comes up, I take a deep breath, say, that's interesting way to look at it. Tell me more about that. Changes the whole conversation. And it's in that response, in that what we're choosing is where we grow. It's where we have more confidence, where we're more respectful of everyone else. Because rather than railing up and down, it's like being a bull in a china shop. Been there, done that. So, in your life, right now, you have the choice to navigate in any situation, because when anything happens, there is a beat, there's a pause, there's a space where we can choose a response or reaction. Don't always believe everything you think. And every thought we have is not changing God. In fact, it's not going to change anyone else. It changes us. And with that, we can have an experience of navigating this journey in life, not being completely distracted by everything that's happening in the world out there. Yes, be aware, but it doesn't have to control who you are and how you live your life. And within that is the sacred power of choice. So this week, as we go forward, let's practice a little of this and see if we can become more aware of the choices we're making when we have that space or that pause between something happening and how we're going to think about it. The first one is, where is Spirit inviting me to choose differently? Where is that divine nature within you nudging you to be a little different? Anyone have an awareness of that in their life? Yeah.
I'm just in a season of change and lots of time. And it's exciting because it's, do I use it to explore passions and playing and or purpose?
Very good. Has a lot of time in their life right now. And she's seeing it as good, but it pushes her against it to determine what's going to be next. Very good. Anyone else?
I like audiobooks a lot. So I've been listening to, there's a book called Dear Theo, where Van Gogh is writing to his brother. And your question up there is, so as I'm listening to that book, as he's writing to Theo about being an artist, it's inviting me to choose when I go to the easel, which is there as I'm listening to it, and painting from a slightly different choices. So I've really have enjoyed, not only do I enjoy the books, but I also enjoy a slightly different perspective from a very well-established artist.
Yes, that's a wonderful example. In my life, the inspiration to adopt a dog, which Owen and I literally have talked about for 37 years, and then doing it, and then navigating what that choice is bringing forth in my life, is growing me in ways that I didn't even know were there for me to do. The most significant one is my dormant inner parent, because I never had any children. except now I have a son, is wonderful, and it's changing me. The second question is, what kind of a person am I choosing to become? Anyone identify with that? What kind of person are you choosing to become?
I have a family member who is very ill, and I'm finding myself to be on the telephone with my sister very frequently, and I'm finding that the kind of person I'm choosing to become with her is very supportive, very non-judgmental, and just be there for her.
How beautiful. A great choice. Anyone else?
I would like to be more of service to others. Like I'm thinking how I can give back and how I can just, do for others more.
Beautiful. Beautiful. The third question is, what one choice can I make this week that aligns more fully with divine love? What's one choice I could make this week that helps me align with divine love? Anyone have an example for them?
I think for me, it would just be letting go of like anger, resentment. Yeah.
That's a good week. Very good. Yes.
This week, we have a relationship where I text him on his birthday and that's it. And I have chosen to ask him, is the relationship we have now what you want?
Wow. Thank you. I have often said that our greatest curriculum is our family. And it'll be there for our whole life, and even after they're gone, the curriculum is still there. It's powerful. We can learn a lot by breathing through it and allowing whatever the lesson is to be what it is. What wonderful examples these are, and in that we are aligned with the great truth that there is a sacred power in our choice. And so that will be our destination with this week. Thank you.